Evening, folks. Thank you for tuning in. So to carry on my story about school didn't like me. When I was in Standard 6, let me just reverse a bit. Between Standard 6 and 7, I had missed a lot of schooling for two reasons. My memory of the times is, when it comes to the dates and what happened first and second, is a little bit fuzzy. Anyway, I was run over by a car in Church Street. Was one event, and a year later I got pneumonia. Childhood pneumonia is not a pleasant thing. Getting run over by a car, a hit and run, not a pleasant thing. Anyway, for those two reasons, I missed probably a year or a year and a half of schooling, which didn't really help me at all. So what essentially happened was I passed Standard 7, and I was placed in the practical class for Saturday 8, grade 10. And I really wasn't happy being in a practical class. Anyway, I was in Saturday 8 for about a week when I was called out to class, taken to the office and told that they were going to demote me back to Standard 7. No, that was like really, really unpleasant. Humiliating, yeah. So what happened was, I came home from school, so now I was in Standard 7, okay? Coming towards the July holidays. And I got up from school, and as I walked in the door, my mum was sitting in the lounge. And as I walked in the door, she said to me, "Gavin, what's wrong?" And I said, "Nothing, Mum." I put my bag down, and I was about to go into the kitchen to go and grab something. And she said to me, "Gavin, what is wrong? You look like you're carrying the world on your shoulders. Sit down and tell me what's going on." So I sat down and I said to her, I just said to Mum, I'm really, really tired of getting houndings at school. I'm tired of being complained at, and I'm just very tired of every teacher's always telling me, every report card I get, the same thing says, "Gavin can do better. Gavin, if he puts his mind to it, must do better." And I said to her that I'm fed up with it, fed up with school. And my mom, being a working mom and a single parent, had to sort of balance home life and work life, and I understand that. So I begged my mom to please, if she would agree to stay home, take leave for 3 days, I would study. And very practical woman, Mom agreed. So a week before the exams, I bunked school for 3 days. And sat in the kitchen with my mum for 3 days. I caught up all my projects, undone work that I hadn't done, stuff I neglected to do. I caught it all up. I studied, and anyway, so the exams came, and did the exams. Went in July recess holiday, and when I got back to school, one of my first classes, if I remember, was geography. And we all sat down, came in after assembly, and the geography teacher, who was actually our class teacher, if I remember, congratulated all the kids by name who had passed. And when it came to me, she said to me that there's no way. Sorry about the interruption. Anyway, my teacher said to me that there was no ways I could have got 84% for geography. And looking at the rest of my report, she actually had my report. She said, there's no ways you got these marks. I suggest you take your bag, go and wait outside the headmaster's office. I'm on my way. When I got to Mr. Estes' office, he saw me sitting there, and he beckoned me in and said, "What's up? What you doing that again?" And anyway, she arrived, and she told Mr. Estes that there's no ways that I could have got these marks. I've obviously cheated, and I need to be punished for cheating. When I tried to defend myself, and I wanted to say to Mr. Estes, the principal, please, I didn't cheat. Please phone my mom. And they ignored me. They ignored me. And Mr. Estes said to me, well, there's the door. He had a door that led out straight into the car park. And he said to me, well, school's not your friend. And anyway, sent me back to my class. I think it was about a month later. I think it was my mathematics teacher, one of those teachers in the sciences, the mathematics or science, whatever, decided to go through all our schoolwork, and found reason that 6 of us guys in the class had not been following his lessons, and we hadn't done our homework, and he just lumped on a whole lot of stuff that he felt we hadn't done. So we were marched off to Mr. Estes' office. And this was actually humiliating, because what happened was Mr. Estes made us all line up, and he started at one side of the line. He'd ask the guy's name, his age, and then give him a couple of whacks, and he'd go. So it was like, this guy, 15, sir, this guy, 15, sir, this guy, 15, sir. And then when he got to me, 17, sir, he sort of was about to go to the next guy, and he sort of stopped and he said, "What?" So I said, "I'm 17, sir." And he said to me, "In 7. So he said to me, "You wait in the corner." He carried on with the group of guys, whacked them all, they got their hidings, they left. And he said to me, "School's not for you. I think the best you can do for yourself is take your bag and go and find yourself a job." Well, I was hurtful, I was embarrassed, I was humiliated, and I thought, well, what the fuck, So if I study, I get into trouble. If I don't study, I get into trouble. And this unfortunately had quite a bearing on my whole life. So anyway, went home. Early the next morning, I caught the bus to the station. I caught the 9 o'clock Pullman to Durban. How I knew where the Durban loco was or what a unit assistant was on the railways, I don't know. I can't remember. I really don't know. Anyway, I went to the thing, applied for a job at the railways as a unit assistant, had a medical, everything done in one day. Next day, I was told to be reported to loco. I think it was 6:30 or 7:15, something like that. And I caught the Pullman home at about 5 o'clock. My mum wasn't home. The maid wasn't home. My sister, I think, was somewhere or other. And so nobody knew I hadn't been to school that day. So what happened was I'd been working for 3 days already. And just to explain to you, at Lynn Park High School, certain days of the week we wore overalls because we worked. The school gave you an opportunity to do a technical subject that involves theory and practical. So we wore overalls. So this was my new gear going to work. I think it was probably 3 days. I worked 3 days. It was all day shift, working in the shunting yards and just basically learning the ropes for what a unit assistant does on the train when it runs. I came home, third day. My mom was standing at the front door when I walked through the door, and the lady who I was always reminded worked for my mum. She was our housekeeper, our domestic worker, whatever terminology one feels comfortable using. And my mum said to me, "Rebecca says you are no longer wearing your school uniform, Gavin. What is going on?" So I said to her, "Mum, I'm actually working." And she said to me, "What?" And I said, "Mum, I'm working." And she said, "Where?" So I told her I was working for the South African Railways, and she said, "Well, how did you get a job?" So I told her I caught the bus and got to Durban on the Monday, I think it was. And my mum being a very practical woman, and I think she must have realized that I was really, really unhappy with school, but at the same time, she really wanted me to, do my trick and do well. Like I suppose any parent would. But anyway, Mum said to me, "So how am I getting to work?" So I told her, "Well, at the moment it's day shift, so I catch the bus, and I'm able to catch the bus to work and back again." But I said to her, from Thursday I'm trying to go out of town. And she said to me, "Well then, what happens when you come off at 3 in the morning? How are you going to get home?" So I said, "Well, I'm going to walk, or ride my bicycle, or hitch a lift, or do whatever." So she said to me, "Well, we're going to have to make a plan." Never spoke about school again. About 2 months later, the school counsellors were phoning my mother and basically begging her to please ask me to please come back to school. That they just wanted to talk to me. There was no pressure, no threats. They just wanted to talk to me. So a couple of days went by, and Mum said to me, "Please, Gavin, I know you don't want to, but for God's sake, just go to the school and see what these people want." So I was thinking of working a late shift. Took a walk up to the school and sat down to the school counsellors. And the meeting really wasn't productive. When I wanted to talk about the situation that had led up to this, All they wanted to talk about was how was my home life, and was I eating properly, and did I have any problems at home, and problems with gold, and they really kind of missed the point. And after about half an hour, I just said to them, ladies, please excuse me, I need to get ready for work, and left, and I never went back to school. Do I bear a bit of resentment? Yes, I do. Although I have to acknowledge that I really couldn't concentrate in class. As hard as I tried, I couldn't stop talking. My favorite thing was to sing. So in between classes, I would sing, and often I would carry on singing. Once I was in the class, when you're unpacking your bags and sitting down and organizing your desk and throwing stuff at your mates, whatever the case was, I'll never forget. I used to have this one guy who used to always sit on the desk next to me in class. And one day we were going between the classes, and suddenly this guy's singing, And I thought, wow, he's got a lekker voice. Anyway, he starts singing, and he walks in the classroom, and he's singing away, and taking his books out of his bag, and he's singing and whatever. And anyway, he got sent to the principal and got checked for being disruptive. And that was really funny. He didn't appreciate it. I thought it was bloody funny, but anyway. So before I do tend to get distracted. I do regret not finishing school, because I do unfortunately have a dyslexia issue. I have a speech issue. Those are physical things that I just never acknowledged. Only now, in my late years, do I ever mention the word dyslexia. I'll tell you what, when I first discovered Facebook, damn, I was excited, man. I had this like an audience and a platform. I would type stuff, and oh God, it was the days before you could edit, before you had little green little dots where you could edit. So whatever you typed, and once you had posted it, that was it. And people used to rip me to pieces about my flipping grammar. But what I can honestly tell you is that Facebook for me has been a very, very, very positive experience, because my writing skills, my grammar have really improved, and improved to a point where I can actually type out, say, 7 sentences with a full stop and a comma, and I'm able to now hold back on the damn pushing the button and proofread what I've written and then send it. And then, bless their souls, they put that little button where you can edit, because I still make mistakes. I'll write something like, wanting to write, I went to town. And I will say, I will write, I to town. And it happens frequently. I forget. I see what I want to write in my head, and I type it out. It's a bit shit. And but I've definitely, Facebook forced me from people just like pissing me off, and saying like really shit stuff about my writing. But it definitely helps. I'm from living with a disability. One thing it does teach you is to deal with adversity. And yeah. Anyway, guys, so that's essentially. I know the video is pretty short, but I was quite anxious about telling the story. So you notice the first two parts were relatively long and detailed. The conclusion is not something I'm proud of. But I really wanted to just be able to voice for, even though those people that asked the questions after a couple of years after I left school, a lot of them are not with us anymore, but some of them are. And it was just important to me to get this thing out. So guys, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and please follow me, man. Great, I'm loving this YouTube idea, be able to talk and express my views and opinions. So guys, cheers. Thank you very much.